What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Drinks with Johnny. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Sam Hawkins. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic today. Just got back from Hawaii late last night. Woke up, had to set my alarm to do this, but I'm ready for some fun with my buddy here and making a new friend in Danny Case from Ashes to New.
So do you have to say from twice when it's from Ashes to New? So it's Danny from Ashes to New.
Oh, question number one. I think we got to ask him.
I think he's going to have to, Danny's going to have to fill it out. No, I'm excited about this chat too, because I know you and I we're texting, and we're going to be topical this season on Drinks with Johnny. So a topic that is near and dear to my heart is basketball and the Los Angeles Lakers. I know he's a basketball fan. I believe he's a Lakers fan from what I've seen on his Instagram. So I'm excited to talk to him about the playoffs. And he's actually, this is a fun thing, he's on tour right now with Shinedown. Zach Myers is a Memphis Grizzlies fan. I've been texting. Zach is coming on the show at some point here to get some shit talking going back and forth. And during this 7-game series. So Danny's out with Zach right now. He's a Lakers fan. Zach is a Memphis Grizzlies fan, and Game 1 is on Sunday. When everyone hears this, Game 1 will be in the books. We're releasing this on Monday. We're recording on a Friday, and I'm just excited. I think the Lakers have a really good chance of advancing. I know you could give two shits about basketball, but I'm really excited to have someone else to talk to about that. Real quick, we have to talk about the fact that Brandon is not joining us. He is at a bachelor party, told us he's all shroomed up and about to watch the Kentucky Derby. So he will not be joining us today.
Well, he also texted us. It's some kind of cowboy theme, yet they're braiding each other's hair. I don't know what they're doing in those backwoods.
Brandon's always getting into weird shit, right? Like he's always, his stories of him and his buddies hanging out over there in Pennsylvania, it is just some wild shit.
Well, I think that actually, Danny, I thought I saw that he's from Pennsylvania too. So we'll have to ask him if this is a thing that they do. But Brandon also sent us some pictures of overalls shirtless. And he said, do you guys fuck with overalls? I think he found his new thing. I think he's just lazy. He just doesn't want to wear pants or anything. I think that
sounds about right. I mean, let's be honest. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, he likes to let his nipples be free. So once again, it all leads to nipples and wieners here. So
speaking of wieners, man, having those guys on Hollywood Undead, we just released that episode a couple of days ago, or earlier this week rather, and then the video too, and that little clip out that we put on social media just had me laughing. We should have just let him. We should have just let him whip his dick out and show us the thing. We'll do it in person next time. Next time I cross paths with him, I'm going to get it on tape.
Well, there we go. And then there's our incentive for the behind the scenes. If you guys want to join the Discord, you can get the extra.
Yeah. Well, we actually got a good question, a good topic of discussion for today with Danny. Ayati? I forget. I don't even know how to say it. AIGHTI. You know who you are in the Discord, 50 Animals. She's the one that said to ask Danny about working with The Who. Which is my first introduction to The Who was the Retaliator soundtrack when we had Lombardi on the show, and they're an interesting band, and I guess they're from a different country, and she wants to know how they worked on that collaboration that they did together. So we'll see what Danny has to say about that.
Well, it's funny because I personally haven't heard them, but I've heard a lot about them. I feel like they got a lot of buzz around them, so I got to check them out. But every time we would text about the planning and all this stuff for the podcast with Hollywood Undead, we put HU, and in my head I just kept thinking it was like Hollywood Undead. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? But I mean, obviously we did. So but yeah.
So before Danny gets here, we got a lot of questions for him, and hopefully he would like to weigh in on the basketball topic with me. And I know you'll probably just be silent there, Sam, for a little bit. So I
like basketball. I like the Lakers. I gotta admit, being friends with you has got me a little more interested in things. So I gotta say that. And I hated the Raiders growing up, and I will say I kind of like the Raiders now because I'm a bandwagon jumper of whoever my friends are, I guess.
Hey, we love it. We love it at Raider Nation. Join the dark side.
Well, you sell a good point about them of why you like them from the early years and the party scene and things like that. But I'm sorry I interrupted you. So
it's all good. Yeah, that's why I brought a co-host to this season. I like to be interrupted. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. And people are getting bored. It's like a coach in the locker room. People are getting bored of hearing the same voice every week, you know? So we got to bring on new voices. I want to hear from you. How was your trip in Hawaii? I know it was – who has a bad trip in Hawaii? Nobody, right? But what were you guys able to do while you're out there?
Oh, we did it all, man. We did hit. So my father-in-law turned 70 and his wife turned 60, married a younger lady, and he's been to 48 states, so this was his 49th state. He still has to go to Alaska. But I was going to ask you, you've only been to one island, right?
I've only been to Honolulu. It was for a show. It was awesome, and it wasn't a true vacation though. We were there for like 3 days. One of the nights I had a show. The other two we had a bunch of Mai Tais at Turtle Bay, which was amazing though. I will say that resort, after seeing Forgetting Sarah Marshall, we stayed at that same resort where they filmed it. Really? So we're walking around like, this is where they filmed this scene, where they filmed that scene. And like in my head, I was saying, and we were saying it to each other too, you know, and it's one of our favorite movies. So like, I was like so excited to stay at that hotel.
It's funny you bring that up of all of them. So obviously we took Hawaiian Airlines in there. And that was a movie that was on the list that you could watch. And I was like, you know what? I haven't watched this in years. So I rewatched it, which is also very awkward on planes now. How, I don't know if this started, I mean, you haven't toured in a while, but you have traveled. I don't like how you can play movies in their entirety now. So like you'll push play on something and you think, oh, they're going to do the edited version. And then like people are just going to Pound Town and you got like a 2-year-old kid sitting across from you looking over at what you got and you're like, can we have a little bit of filter here? It's surprising to me that they do that, but it definitely got me.
I think the idea is everyone's looking at their own screen, right? There's not a lot, there's not as much people because you get it for free. So it's not like before, like if one guy paid for it, you might, and you're too cheap to buy the movie. You might just watch the movie from the other seat, right?
Right. That movie is great though. Like I forgot. Have you watched Shrinking? Have you seen that on Apple TV?
I haven't seen. No, I know. I mean, I got to start watching it. The cast looks awesome, and I've heard a lot about it. Have you started it?
We finished it. It's a pretty short season. I think it ended like a week ago. But Harrison Ford I'm pretty sure he's just being himself, just a grumpy guy, but kind of nice in real life. But he acts a little gruff. And then Jason Segel's just being Jason Segel. It seems like it's very real. And I think you would appreciate the way you talk to Frankie and things like that, of just wanting to be a dad, but then being real at the stuff that you talk about and say. Yeah, I found it very refreshing. So I'm definitely check it out.
Dude.
But
I'll definitely check that out. So back to Hawaii though.
But cool. So we went to Kauai, which I was thinking about you went to the bigger, busier island, but I do think that you and Lacey and Frankie need to go do a trip to Kauai because it's so magical. And stay on the south by Poipu. We did the helicopter tour. We did the tubing there. We did horseback riding. We did, what else did we do? We did this amazing hike. The coolest thing to me is a little more rainy than, I mean, it's always rainy there, but it's more rainy than usual. And, but there's this waterfall you go to where they filmed Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's filmed everywhere. But I'll have to send you some pictures, but they have this waterfall and then a lagoon with a rope swing. So you hike about a mile in mud and then you get to this beautiful, it pays off, this beautiful view. And you just kind of have it semi to yourself. There's some people there, but it's a blast. And I don't really drink as much lately, but I drank while we were there.
Some Mai Tais. We'll get back to that real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, but Danny's here. We're going to bring him in. You and I will talk more Hawaii at the end here.
Yeah. Also, I want to ask, I was in there for Easter, so we'll have to ask Danny. I saw he had some Easter hijinks with his band.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Danny? We can hear you. We cannot see you yet.
There we go.
There he is.
Danny.
On the bus. I'm feeling like I'm missing out right now, man. On the bus. It's been a while since I've been on one of those. How you doing? You're out in Florida right now, right? Jacksonville?
Yeah. You guys haven't toured since 2018, right?
That is correct, sir. Yeah, 2018. So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Getting a fever.
I'm excited to see you guys getting back out on the road soon.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to get back out on the road. But I know you guys are on the road right now. As you said, you got a show tonight in Jacksonville. You're on the road with Shinedown and 3 Days Grace, a couple of buddies that I've had the pleasure of touring with before too. How's it going?
Yeah, it's great, man. They're such great bands, and the camaraderie is awesome. We were pretty much given like the green light to do whatever we wanted as long as we're prompt and within our parameters of time. And all the sets have been great. We feel like their crowd is receiving us well, and 3 Days Grace is crushing it every night. And Shinedown, they're just destroying every night.
I'm glad to hear that for them, man. That's awesome. We've been friends with those guys for many years now, and kudos to that tour, man. So before we go into everything else, this is Sam, our co-host, Drinks with Johnny, also the guy that's booking everything.
What's up, man? How's it going?
So we got topics this season. We're trying to go more topic heavy and have the guests come in and weigh in on it. And today I was looking through your Instagram and I saw you're a bit of a basketball fan, right? Are you a Lakers fan? I saw you with a Kobe jersey on.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I have like a specific team, but like, man, I love watching great players. So like, I love watching Kyrie Irving. I love watching Steph. I love watching Kobe. All the great players, like, they just fascinate me. They're the best at what they do.
Right.
And so like, I try to get jerseys from all the different teams of like their best players. Just because they inspire me. They're so good at what they do.
Yeah, that's a great point. So Sam, before you came on, me and Sam were talking about this. He's getting into basketball, I guess, a little bit more, but the playoffs are starting this weekend, and my Lakers, right here, are playing your tour mates, Memphis Grizzlies, starting on Sunday. This episode will drop on Monday.
Right.
So one game will be in. I got to have Zach come on. I was already texting with him. He's going to come on from the road too later on next week, and we're going to be talking some shit back and forth to one another. And it's going to be all good.
I'm rooting for the Lakers on that one, man.
You rooting for the Lakers?
I love John Morant, but I want to see the Lakers win. I can't stand Dylan Brooks.
Yes. All right. So we got him, Sam. He wants the Lakers to win now too. So please, tonight, when you see Zach, just remind him that he's supposed to take me to floor seats for this game, for one of the games. Yeah. But he's on the road, so I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But so since that's not going to happen, we got to figure out something else he's got to do for me when the Lakers eventually beat the Memphis Grizzlies. So make sure you talk to him about that, because that's coming up on game one's on Sunday.
Is that the same cup that is bigger than you that Zach commented on when he was on the show?
It is in fact, Sam. It is in fact.
Yep.
Is that like a pint or something like that, or a quarter gallon?
Yeah, I think it's a
quart. I think it's a quart. I don't actually know. I've never. It's enough to make you feel good by the end of it. All right, that's all I know.
Yeah.
That's the key.
We have very masculine drinks on our bus. We have Trulies.
Ooh. Well, you know,
hey,
I
like
understand.
Mike's Hard Lemonade, so I can't talk any shit. So
no, I get. Hey, Truly's good. Like, I like the seltzers. It's so funny. I went through a phase where I was drinking, and I was talking to Brian about this, Sam. I was drinking those like crazy, like every day, or every time I was drinking, you know, I would have a seltzer on the weekend out by the pool, summertime, everything like, and I just got burnt out on them, you know, and like it's been a while since I had them, and then last week I popped open a White Claw at a kid's birthday party, a watermelon White Claw, and I was like, all right, I do remember why I like these. This is pretty good.
We go down.
Well, it's been too cold. It's too. I mean, you guys. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like it's more of a summer, like refreshing drink than like a winter drink. You know, I mean, my wife drinks them all the time, so I guess she doesn't discriminate. You know, alcohol is alcohol. But what are you drinking on right now, Danny?
I'm treating my heart very well, and
there you go.
Monster Energy. All right.
That's like the one thing I just can't stop drinking. I such a problem with it.
Well, obviously you got a show tonight, so it's not like you're going to be taking back Trulies right now. But are you good? Do you partake in the drinking after the shows, or I know you're big into fitness, so I wasn't sure how that worked. If that goes hand in hand for you.
Once in a while, I'm usually pretty strict about like my job and my craft. So like usually I'm like absolutely nothing. I'm like be in bed at a certain time, get a good night's sleep, make sure I'm warmed up for the show, and make sure I like am able to sing well and put on a good performance. But I've kind of loosened up a little bit over the past year, and it hasn't hurt. So, I'll have maybe one or two every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely trying to be responsible because I feel like I've seen far too many bands whose singers have just really treated themselves poorly, and the fans suffer because of that. And I'm not down with that. So I really try to focus on being the best that I can be. And as long as I can get a couple drinks in and that doesn't affect me, I'm down. I'm game. So
first of all, I want to point out that's a very mature answer there, Danny. Like that, you're wise beyond my years. Like I would go out there and play hungover 5 years ago all the time, but that was. But I'm not suggesting that was a good idea. But
yeah. I mean, you've done backing vocals before, but like I feel like for drummers or bass players or guitarists, like I get so jealous. It's like, man, those guys stay up and party. They can yell all night. And it's like I have to be a good little boy and like make sure I'm not yelling.
Oh yeah, I know on the road how it goes. I know Shads takes is militant about his voice on the road and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
It's like a 24/7 job. I love it, and at the same time, kind of hate it.
Well, so, Johnny, didn't you used to not drink before shows? Wasn't there a period?
Oh, I still don't. I never drink before shows. I may like occasionally, like once we're like deep into the cycle and it's all muscle memory at that point. If we're out in like a cool country or something like that in the summertime, I may like have a beer at lunch or something like that, but like super rare. But yeah, I mean, years ago I implemented no drinking before the show. Like that was like, because it was getting bad. Like there was a couple of shows. This was back in like the club van days. Like by the time we were in buses and doing that stuff, like I was that rule had already applied. Yeah, because to Danny's point there, you don't want to cheat the fans. They're coming out to see you. You want to be on your game. So I mean, I'm joking when I say that. Like I go out there completely hungover. Have I had shows like that? Sure, but like not all the time. Like I'm like Danny said, I'm trying my best to give a good show every day, and you got to take care of yourself to do that. Which is why the guy's into fitness. Have you seen this guy's guns?
Oh, yeah. I'm jealous. I'm an old 40-year-old. I keep trying to do push-ups and sit-ups every day, and it doesn't do shit. I'm seeing this young spry guy.
You could actually have Danny. I saw on his link tree. You could actually have him train you for $100 or train with you for $100. Is that right, Danny?
Yeah. So I'm a certified personal trainer part-time. I haven't really like started like clientele or anything like that, but yeah, I am certified to train people. So yeah, that's something I could do.
Yeah, Sam, you gotta hit him up after this, man.
I know.
The push-ups and the sit-ups isn't where it's at, man. I bet she's got a couple tricks.
Hit me up. I'll give you all the industry secrets.
That'd be great. I'll be your before and after picture. You'll be like, look at this old ass guy. I got him.
Did you get into that personal training and fitness stuff prior to becoming the vocalist of From Ashes to New, or was that like after being on the road, taking care of yourself, realizing that you're like, okay, now I'm gonna like take it to this next level?
It's so wild. It was a combination of things. I started working out when I was like 17 after my first breakup, of course. So
got to mend that heart somehow.
So actually, Avenged Sevenfold is my favorite band of all time.
Oh, no shit. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man.
So I would watch videos of you guys back in the day, and Shads just had these monster arms. I was like, that's what I need to do. Right. So like the breakup and then like watching you guys, eventually it just became like second nature, and I just never stopped after that. So like, and then I found myself like just really falling in love with fitness and being strong, because I grew up as a twig. I was a tiny kid. So that really just became like part of who I am. So at this point, it's just like, if I don't get to the gym in a while, it's like, I feel like I'm falling apart. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get there, you know?
It is
Were you a
interesting.
sports guy or music guy? Sorry.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Oh, were you a sports guy or a music guy? Before you got into fitness, I mean, were you into sports or not really? Just kind of a fitness thing or what?
I played basketball my whole life. And then I didn't get into music until I was about 11 or 12 when I saw a friend play drums. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to do that. And it just, through, you know, series of events, I ended up singing. And it wasn't until I was already in a band that I started working out. So, yeah, I would say probably sports before working out, but they really kind of go hand in hand a lot of times. So,
right. What sports were you playing when you were a kid?
Just basketball.
Just basketball. Pure basketball. So when I look at that post from Shine Down and you guys, you and Zach throwing down on the court, it didn't really actually show me who won. So
no.
How was that game? Tell me behind the scenes how that shooting challenge went.
Okay. I'll give you the full 100% story. So, the first game, I'm just trying to test the waters because, I mean, for me, basketball's second nature, and you don't want to go in and be the guy who's just dunking on people. So it's like, that's not.
Why wouldn't you want to be there? If I could do that, Danny, I would when I play with my son on my 6-foot hoop, I will dunk on his ass, like straight up.
Yeah, and I cannot dunk, but I mean, let's just like schooling everyone is like, you know, you want to have fun. So the first game I was like trying to see like how they were, and we ended up losing by a basket because our drummer took a shot and airballed it, and it dropped right in front of their security guy, and he just put it up and in. So I was like, all right, well, tonight I'm gonna have to try. So we played 2 games later that night, beat them both times. So now we have a rivalry.
Now you have okay. I love this.
Well, you can't beat the guy you take out, right? First, you have to let him win before smoosh him over before you dominate, just to make their ego feel good.
Yeah.
You're pulling the rug out. I like it. You're sandbagging.
Yep.
Hey, anytime it's against the Memphis Grizzlies fan right now, I'm all for it. Right. So who do you got? Okay, let's go down the list. You said you're more of just a fan of the sport, not necessarily a team. Like I said, the play-ins have been amazing. Have you been able to watch this from the road?
No, not really. It's been really hectic with our production and with getting our sound right. But I have watched the highlights. The Lakers game was crazy.
Dude, the Lakers-Wolves game, of course I was watching on pins and needles. Going into overtime, I was like, the whole game I'm sitting there going, guys, they don't have Gobert. They don't have Daniels.
Right.
How are you letting them even in the game right now? And they just had I think as a fan who watches the Lakers like religiously, they had an off night. I mean, there was no way, but their defense showed up, which is good. I mean, but they had an off shooting night. They're not
Did
usually
D'Angelo Russell play?
What's up?
Did D'Angelo Russell play?
He did, but he was not very effective. Again, like there was something off with the offense. There was just something. It was just a weird night for the offense.
I mean, you got a win's a win in the end, so hopefully they get it together after that. But yeah, holy crap, what a game,
dude! And then I've watched the other playing games too, and like they're just. It's really exciting right now in basketball, Sam. I'm telling you, you should pay attention to this part. Like the way that they have done this play-in. At first, it seemed so funky, but now 3 years into it, I'm like, okay, this like makes the season more exciting. Like the second half of the season is intense.
Yeah, it's like a pre-playoffs finals. You know, where it's like. Game 7 finals.
You know what? Yeah, and you know what? To me, it brings in a little bit of that college March Madness vibes to it too. Like I didn't expect it to do that, but it's like those games from the end of the season and then those ones actually in the play-in mean so much that like you got teams really fighting it out right now, and it's like, and they're all good. They're all pros. To Danny's point, that's why he's a fan of the players, right? Like. They're all pros. They're all the best at their positions, you know, for those teams and stuff. So they, on any given night, they go out there and they're going to light it up.
Yeah. It's really.
Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was going to change the subject, so I'll.
No, they can't change it yet. No, I'm not changing it yet. This is what we're talking about today. Go fuck yourself. It's playoff season, baby. So okay, so what are some of the who do you see making it? Let's call it Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals. Who do you think is going to end up in those 4 teams there?
The Clippers are looking good. The Lakers are their potential is pretty wild. The Suns are basically undefeated with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, dude. No, they are undefeated with him. He's 8. They're
Dude,
8
I
now.
don't. And even the Warriors, when they have their shit together, are just an absolute nightmare to defend.
Yeah, that's a championship pedigree.
I can't. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. The one player that I do bias my favoritism towards is Steph. So I like to see the Warriors go further so I can watch him play.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them go past the first round. They have to play
They're playing the Suns. No, they're not playing the Suns. I'm sorry.
They're playing
Clippers are playing the Suns. They're playing the Kings. That'll be interesting because the Kings have been a great team all season, but they're young, and they're going to get tested by a team that that's lived in the playoffs for the better part of the last 2 decades.
So if I absolutely had to pick a Western Conference matchup, or are you saying Western Conference winner?
I'll give you a matchup. Just who do you think is going to be in that 7-game series for the Western Conference Finals?
Probably the Suns. I'm going to say probably the Suns. And I don't know how the matchups are set up after this, so I could pick something that's technically not possible. But
if they keep winning, whoever just keeps winning is going to end up in the finals. So
right. Yeah, I'm gonna go Suns. Suns Clippers.
They're playing each other in the first round. They're playing each other in the first round, which unfortunately it doesn't look good for the Clippers. I know that they had a good season, but without Paul George, and he's going to be out at least a few. Of those
he's
games.
out. Oh yeah. No,
that one's kind of done, I think.
Then I'm gonna go Suns. I'm gonna go Suns Warriors.
You were so close. You almost had it right. It's going to be the Lakers.
What a trick. Welcome to our show where Johnny brings you on, asks you questions that you can't answer right.
Loaded question. So I'm guessing Suns Lakers.
There we go.
Now you got it.
I will give you, though, that would be, if they do match up Golden State and Phoenix, Durant going up against Curry, that would be a lot of fun to watch. And you know that everybody, everyone wants to see that. That would just be
for sure. Because since Durant left the Warriors, hasn't done anything. They got knocked out of getting into the finals by about a toe length.
Yeah,
that one season.
Yeah, man, that experiment in Brooklyn obviously didn't work out too well, but they gave it a go. They were there for 4 years. He gave him what he could.
I will say if Kyrie didn't go down, I think that it was against the Bucks. I think if he didn't go down and roll his ankle, they might have taken.
Oh, I agree. But then they got swept too. Brooklyn got swept with both of them healthy, and they got swept. I was like, ooh, that's not a good look for this team.
I think I added up the difference in points across the 4 games, and I think they lost the entire series by 16 points.
Wow, that's close.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's
close.
One
of them was 1 point, another was 2 or 4, and one was 8.
Well, who do you got?
It got swept, but it was super close.
So now we've already moved on. This is an easy transition for me to the Eastern Conference. Who you got in the Eastern Conference Finals?
76ers. Who else is good in the Eastern Conference right now?
You got the big 3. They have the 3 best records is the Bucks.
Oh, the Bucks.
The Bucks, the Celtics, and the 76ers.
Yeah, it's got to be 2 of those 3 teams for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I can't. There's some other teams that could make noise, but there's such a big jump in the Eastern Conference. Like they have like the 3 best teams, and then it's everyone else in the Eastern Conference. Whereas in the Western Conference, it's
Whereas
like
the Western, it was like
it's the Wild West.
like,
yeah, it's like 1 to 10
like
are really good teams. Like no matter what, like they play really good basketball.
Yep.
Just,
So I was.
Go ahead, Danny. So when we were younger, a lot of these teams that you guys are mentioning were nothing. Like they were always the low end. And now I do like how every, city can kind of have their own team and they all have a chance that they used to. Because did you grow up in Pennsylvania, or where are you from?
No, I'm from Western New York. So I born and raised in Rochester.
Oh, okay.
So
are you
why
Knicks
aren't you a
fan,
Knicks fan then?
I was never really partial to my area ever. I actually don't like it there.
Where do you live now?
That's still where I live. I'm getting married this year, and we're looking at like getting a house, but then like eventually kind of shifting out of state. So
okay. Well, congratulations on your engagement.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I would have been out of there 5 years ago, but unfortunately, I met her.
That'll
I was like,
happen.
well, I guess I'm staying now.
Yeah, I guess that'll happen. It's a good reason to stick around. It's a good reason to stick around.
Oh yeah.
How'd you meet her?
Yeah, it's funny. My half sister introduced us. She was like, you have to meet this girl. She's super awesome. She actually did not want to meet me because of my profession, and that's actually what made me want to meet her.
Ooh.
So I was like, I love a girl that doesn't want anything to do with the music industry, because there is a lot of toxicity involved with it for a lot of different people. And so like, if she's someone who has no interest in that and doesn't care about the spotlight and the stage, like I want to meet her then. Like, so, and then, it just, from there on forth, like it was just, no matter what we faced, it was just who we were as people, no matter how different our lives are. It was just, we were just meant to be together. It's really wild, because I joined this band pretty much right around the time that we met. And if it weren't for meeting her, I'd have left state and moved down to Pennsylvania.
Mm. That's interesting. Yeah, no, I like that you talked about that. I think that's an important thing for people at home listening too, is with that, let's call it the fame, the limelight of being in a band. You're the fronting of a band that's touring. You're in a bus. You're a successful man. You found a partner that doesn't necessarily care about that, and I think that's really important. Like, I know that's worked out well in my marriage to this point. Is my wife she's a fan now of what I do, but like it's not like she really cares.
She always calls me a band geek, which is my favorite joke in the world.
That one time at band camp.
Yeah. She's like, you're just a band nerd.
I love that. No, it's great, because it also, I found that it'll help you, and you could correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I found for me, it's helpful to have that separation in my life. Like you take the band life, you take everything out, and you can leave it over there and come back to normalcy, and that balance has been very helpful in my life. I don't know if you can speak to that.
Yeah, 100%. Because like, when the heart like longs for someone, it increases like the strength of your bond. And then when you get to be together, you also still get to grow as well. So you get like, I feel like you get the two sides of growth, where it's like the separation and the togetherness. And so like, the first couple of years we were dating, there was a lot of separation, which was good because she wanted to go slow anyways, and that was cool with me. And so we got that time apart to still be our own individual selves. And then the pandemic hit, and we got to spend a bunch of time together, and we only got closer. So it was like, all right, I mean, like, clearly this is a good thing. So, and now being back out on the road again, she's going to come out for a week and travel for a little while, and, get to see a couple different cities. And that's a nice break from the separation. But like, yeah, 100% that being away, it's like, it definitely helps keeping things fresh, keeping it strong. And as long as it's not like 3-4 months, that's. Oh,
I could go. I've been home for 5 years at this point. I could go out for 3-4 months. Just
yeah.
His wife's hoping he goes out.
Yeah. We've been seeing a lot of each other over the last 5 years. little
Yeah,
too much.
you guys had a really long extended break because of Matt's surgery, right? In his recovery process, and then the album.
His recovery process. He'll go into details at some point about what he went through, but yeah, I mean, it's no secret we had to cancel the last tour that we had with the Prophets of Rage in 2018 due to his vocals, and and it's been a process, but he's takes steps every day. It couldn't have happened to someone like. I know this is going to sound funny. It couldn't have happened to anyone better than Matt, though, because his ability to work through things and his perseverance through stuff like that. I wouldn't. If it has to happen, it shouldn't happen to anybody else but him, because he'll find a way, and he has.
Always noticed it.
What's that?
Yeah, he always comes back better than before. With like the City of Evil record, sounded phenomenal. Because he had something done before that record, right?
Yeah, that was the last time. Yeah, that he had vocal issues after the tour.
Yeah,
of Waking the Fallen.
He was the first vocalist I really studied heavily. So like I drew a lot of inspiration from him, and I always was really inspired and impressed by how he did all of his parts. He did all of them live, and he didn't sacrifice his show for anything. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to sing every last note that I'm supposed to and be the best that I can be, because that's what my de facto mentor does. So I have always looked up to him in that sense.
That's fun to hear, man. That's cool. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. I'll let him know. But it's just interesting to hear you talk about like him being a mentor to you, and like it's interesting. And then you've studied and picked up on the work ethic, which is really important. I think a lot of times that could be forgotten. And Matt does have a exceptional work ethic. I know the man very well.
And you can tell, man. Like if you pay attention, like you can tell, like that dude is a workhorse. And to be able to go up and do an hour and 40-minute set every night with the intensity of the vocals that he does, like you have to be on your game in order to do tour after tour after tour, those lengths of shows with that high octane of singing. Like I can tell that dude does not fuck around. And I was like, I love it. I was like, that is who I'm going to learn from.
That's awesome. Well, let's get into like your approach though. Like what's your work ethic like? Like do you have a vocal coach, a certain tape of warm up you follow around? What's your process?
I don't have like an on-hand vocal coach that I work with. But I've worked with Jamie Vandera in the past. And I worked with Melissa Cross a little bit.
I'm not familiar with them. Have they been around, had some notable singers?
Melissa does the Zen of screaming. So she does a lot of like screaming techniques.
Does she work with, what's his name from Killswitch? Why am I trying to blank? We had him on the show.
I want to say Kennedy, but it's not Kennedy.
I'm just thinking about too many things right now, and I can't.
Yeah.
Anyway. You're getting low in that mug.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's getting heavy. Sorry, go ahead. The Zen. Yeah, I think I've seen her on Instagram. Is why I bring it up.
Yeah. Jamie Vandera used to sing, and oh man, what was that band called? With Michelangelo Badio. Was the guitarist in the band?
I don't remember the name of the band. But I'm glad that you did the hands with the flying
Nitro.
V. What's that?
Yeah, he used to sing in the band Nitro.
That's right.
So he does like glass shattering with his voice and stuff like that. And he has all these protocols that he uses, some of which I've kind of adopted. And then there's this guy named Brett Manning who sells a bunch of courses, and I found his course to be helpful in my earlier years. So I always use it to like, check and test my voice every night to make sure like all my connections are smooth and that, my voice feels strong. So I kind of take like an hour before every show just to make sure everything is warmed up and feeling right. And then after the show, especially if I'm feeling rough, like I'll make sure I'm like kind of warming down and doing things to bring my voice back to rest. And I sleep with like a humidifier in my bunk. Have like a little nebulizer, a personal nebulizer to make sure like I don't ever dry out. Cause like, man, you can be on top of your game feeling just fine. Like I have the last couple of days. And then all of a sudden we had a day off and must have been super dry on the bus, and all of a sudden, like, my voice just felt tight and constricted for no reason. Like, sick. So I probably have all the different little weapons in my arsenal to help combat those things. So
what about altitude? Have you had that as any issues of altitude? I mean, New York sea level, so now you go up to Colorado and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've definitely felt the difference, right? Like being up in Colorado and like trying to perform, like definitely just feel winded. I don't even think there's a way to combat that than just
there's not.
Every time I go to Denver, I'm like, whew, holy shit.
Yeah, especially when you're coming off someplace like to Sam's point. I mean, you're coming off another city that might be sea level or close to it. You might be like going from Salt Lake to Denver, right? And you're like, fuck, man, this is
This is you're waking up at like 3 a.m. just being like, oh my God, my ears are just popping every 5 minutes.
I want to bring something to the attention of the listeners here. When you bring up the connections, obviously being around Matt, I understand when you're talking about connecting the vocal cords and getting the notes connecting through everything like that, using the proper vibrations with your instrument, right? Can you go into depth and kind of maybe explain that for some of our listeners, what you mean by the connections?
So there are 5 different registers in your voice. You have the chest voice, which is like your speaking voice and most of your singing voice. Then you have what's called the head voice, which is like a lot of opera singers will use. It sounds kind of high and hooty. And then you have what's called the mix, which is kind of a blend between head and chest. And that's where a lot of pop singers kind of sit their voices, where it's kind of like it's raised into kind of the back of your mouth. It has a pharyngeal kind of quality to it, so it can sound a little nasally at times, but you can counteract that with like lowering your larynx. That's a different explanation, but so you have chest, head, mixed, and you have falsetto, which is technically not actual vocal cord coordination. It's your false chords, but that's like the really airy singing, like if you're singing in the shower, like oh yeah, like that's your falsetto. And then you have whistle, which is like the shit that Mariah Carey does, which is like that super high whistly sound. And like all the bridges, if they aren't like well connected, you can have like breaks. So like warm-ups help kind of get everything working together so that you don't have any breaks or that you don't have any parts of your voice that like don't work properly. It makes sure everything is just like smooth and ready to go so that you can go out there and not have to worry about the coordinations that are going on in your throat. So
yeah, no, I think all that stuff is very interesting. And for a lot of people who don't know, it's all very important stuff. Like I know that, I mean, you said you check those breaks every night, check for breaks rather, and make sure those connections are there. I know that you could also check throughout the day, and I know a lot of times, just walking around, you're like, is that there? And you're like, take yourself through a quick little exercise right there to make sure it's there. Because if it's not, like to your point, there's other exercises for you to fix that, but you better have time to do it, right?
Yeah. So like, for instance, today, because for whatever reason I got dried out one night on a day off, I'll probably spend a little more time making sure I get all the way there and that I'm all the way warmed up and don't have any like cracks or breaks or sections of my voice where my, vocal folds aren't, working properly. Because we played an off date, like headliner last night. So it was an hour long set or an hour 15, something like that. So it's like, I definitely have to make sure today that I'm good to go. So I'll probably take a little extra time knowing that my voice is a little wonky right now.
Yeah, I mean,
we appreciate your time.
Yeah, we appreciate your time too. We'll let you get back to it in a second. We have a couple things more we got to talk about if you're
sure.
But yeah, no, I appreciate that grind. Everything you're describing right now. It's been a minute since I've been in that, but it's like back-to-back shows and stuff. Like we're talking about basketball before. It's like the nights of back-to-backs and stuff. It's very important to be on your game when that's the stuff. But neither here nor there, I guess. Right now, let's move on. We're talking music now. We're talking from Ashes to New. One of our members on Discord had something they wanted us to bring up. You guys did a collaboration with The Who
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that band from the soundtrack on The Retaliators. We had the director and lead guy Michael Lombardi on the show, and
you guys
I
run
listened
that
to
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So is that how you guys met? Is that through Adam Splitter? You guys are both on the
That was just like a whole like label
Not Adam
collaboration. So it was just like they had me sing on one of their songs. They put us on another one on the soundtrack, and so those guys are phenomenal musicians. It's unbelievable. Like I got to perform with them at Sirius Octane in New York City,
Rad.
and they're all college professors from their country.
What country are they from? Because that was part of the topic.
They're from Mongolia, I believe.
Mongolia,
So
that's right.
like
So the part of the topic to bring up was how is the communication and the language barrier? Do they, if they're professors, maybe they speak fluent English and it was fine. But I mean, unless you know Mongolian, is that a hidden talent that we don't know about you, Danny?
No, I definitely know zero Mongolian. They taught me a couple swear words, but I forgot them already. So
I was gonna come on and share, man. I want to know a little Mongolian.
Yeah. So they have a translator that they roll with. So if they need to, express anything to the band, they have a translator to work with them. He speaks fluent English. A couple of the guys are like decent with English, and a couple of them only know like, a few words or sentences. So yeah, they just had a translator, and that's kind of what made things, smooth sailing.
That's interesting. And you said that I cut you off there, but you were about to talk about how they're professors and stuff. What are they? What were they professors in?
They're music professors. So like when we were at Sirius XM, one of them sat down and was just playing an insanely fluent piano, and like they're all like multi-instrumentalists and just like college professors of music with like masters and doctorates. Like these dudes are some of the craziest musicians I've ever seen. I was just so not prepared for that. I was like, oh my God, I thought I was a decent musician. I'm a peon.
That's always fun when you get into collaborations, when you feel in yourself for a little bit, and then someone takes you down a peg or two. It's good for you. It's good for you, Danny. It's good to know that it's out there.
Yeah, I every night, getting to watch Brent Smith every night, I'm like, God damn it, I need to sing better. I need to perform better. I need to do all of these things better. Like
he's got a great voice. He's another guy. Speaking of, like I know when we were touring, he was talking to Matt a lot too, and he's another guy that has a really great work ethic when it comes to his instrument.
Yeah. He gives me he has shades of Freddie Mercury in the way that he commands the crowd and performs. Like there's certain ways, like he's like a showman in the sense of like almost like a circus, where like he's very much like performing to like the entire crowd, and like his posture is really good. And it's like watching him every night, I'm like, that dude just crushes it. And it's funny because he talks about having like seriously intense anxiety before he goes on. It's like you would not know, because he goes out there and he just crushes it.
Well, let's circle to you a little bit more. You guys got an album coming out, Blackout, right, in July. And I heard on another podcast, this was kind of like the first one. You've been sitting on this for a while, right? It's an older one.
Yeah, man. We finished recording the majority of the songs in the summer of 2021.
So, yeah. But
wow, you've been sitting on yours a lot longer than I've been sitting on mine. Damn.
Right.
Crazy.
That sounds like nothing to Johnny. But this is on another podcast you had mentioned that this is like the first one that's fully you and your writing vocally and your vibe. Do you find it, are we going to hear more your style of vocals than previously? Was it harder with trying to do the other singers stuff and then you coming in?
Yeah. So when I first came in, obviously I was the new guy. So I was just like, I was just kind of a yes, sir. I'm just going to do whatever the producer or whatever, Matt is suggesting I do. And, we tried that out for a record and it was fine. The next one I recommended that we go a little bit harder with the tonality of my voice and incorporating a little more like grit and rasp and all that stuff. And, we had a huge song on that record that did really well for us. And so for this past record, I was like, okay, I know what I want to do with like the style of a vocal that I want to make. And so one of the things that we did was like I sang everything very, very gritty for the choruses, and we layered everything with pitched screaming in the choruses. So like the vocals sound real intense, and that was kind of the sound I was looking to attain. So that might not be what we do from here on out, but for this record, like I've always wanted to attain that sound. So this record for sure, sound wise, my voice is where I always wanted it to be.
That's awesome. I like. Did you catch what you just did there, Sam? He said we might not be doing that for forever, but this is. I like that you went out for a challenge on a new record, and I think that's really important as a someone who's creative or does this art for a living, is to continually challenge yourselves, but also be willing to. Well, it doesn't have to be that every time. Like I'm really proud that I accomplished that, but you got to write in the moment, right? You got to write and record and be in the moment when you're trying to do these things.
But you guys seem pretty well rounded too, right? I mean, you got. Yeah. It seems like you're influenced by a lot of stuff. You guys aren't going to be pigeonholed long term to one style. Right. I mean, you guys touch everything. What are some of the influences in the beginning?
I'm sorry to cut you off. Did you see how one of the guys in our Discord described this band sound?
No.
Pantera meets Eminem.
Oh yeah, I thought that was great. That was a great analogy. What do you think about that, Danny?
I've actually never heard that before. That's great.
Neither had I. I was like, okay. Everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah, we're inspired by, obviously, like we all grew up on Linkin Park. When I was younger, I got into like, Blink-182 and Green Day and Fall Out Boy and all those bands. And then I got introduced into metal, or like alternative metal, with Breaking Benjamin. And then that just sent me down a rabbit hole of Avenged, Bullet for My Valentine, and then eventually like Periphery and Memphis Mayfire, bands like that. Those are at least my inspirations. I know the other guys like Matt has a really heavy hip hop background, but also was really big into the new metal stuff. Our tastes are all really, really different. Like at the same time, as much as I love, all the different metal bands and rock bands, I love Bruno Mars. I think he's one of the greatest talents of our generation. His singing ability is just.
Have you seen him in concert?
No, and I'm really upset that I haven't yet, because from everything I've ever listened to, I've never heard that guy miss a single note, and it's ridiculous.
And he smokes a pack of cigarettes before he does it. It's insane.
Wait, is that true? Are you just making some shit up over there?
No, Nicole did a show with him. Or we have a friend who's a talent broker, and she said that guy was smoking right before he went on stage too. It's weird. And he does it on stage as he's singing.
Wow. I saw him at the Forum. I didn't notice him smoking cigarettes, but I don't know. Maybe he's
a talent nonetheless.
Yeah, it was absolutely. I love Bruno Mars. Yeah, that's a great pull right there. I love hearing that you guys have that eclectic taste though, and that eclectic thing. I think that's what music always needs, is just influences from different places. That's how you get the coolest. That's how you get new sounds.
Yeah, 100%. The diversity of music is important, because otherwise all your ideas start to sound the same, and that, your band doesn't evolve after that. So we are looking to continue furthering our sound and developing it and stuff like that. We'll always get the Linkin Park comparison just because of the nature of how Matt's voice sounds and my voice sound. So, which is interesting. I've never studied Chester Bennington ever, which I love their music, but that was when I was just a listener. So by the time I became a musician, I wasn't really listening to Linkin Park anymore. And so, like his voice and my voice combined, they really do happen to just be very reminiscent of that early Linkin Park style. And, we'll never get away from that comparison, but we're okay with it. I mean,
never say never. Never say never. Just keep evolving, man. Just keep evolving. Keep doing you. Yeah. You don't know what they're going to do. I mean, right now in music, I think it's great. It's a great time in music for genre blending. I've said this on the podcast here before. Me and Sam have talked about it. I think it's great. The new artists. I know you guys aren't brand new, but younger artists like yourselves are really blending genres to the point where the old heads can't even give you a title, like a genre. Because I don't like those labels. I never really have. I get the explanation. I get it, but music is art and art is music. It's all this. It's all one thing to me. I don't think it needs to be pigeonholed in any way.
I think Falling in Reverse is doing an incredible job of that too.
Absolutely.
Like the way that they have blended certain aspects of pop and hip hop with the metal side of things. I think bands in the past have tried to combine those two worlds, but either took the wrong parts or were trying to blend the wrong things. And I think Falling in Reverse nailed it. The songs that they're putting out right now it's just smash after smash. And so like people can say what they want about Ronnie, but like their music is undeniable right now, and the numbers show it. So absolutely. Yeah, I love the blending of genres. Hardy's doing it with like country and rock, which has been a thing for a while, but like Hardy's killing it. Jelly Roll is crushing. He used to be like gangster country, but now it's really like, because I think he used to rap, and now he's like full on country, and his voice just naturally sounds so good.
Yeah, it's something about just a natural, cool voice that like. We talked a lot about like the work ethic to get your voice into a place. Then there's guys like Bruno Mars or someone like Jelly Roll. Every once in a while, it's just like you're just gifted with that voice, and it just sounds good when you sing. Like it doesn't even matter
what got soul and rasp and grit and weather and character. It's like, damn, I don't know what I need to do to sound that cool, but I got to figure it out.
Well, apparently it's a pack of cigarettes a day, Sam said, right. You're going to have to get rid of that fitness aspect of stuff. You're going to have to start drinking some whiskey.
Well, also people being truer to themselves. Like you go back to it did not working before. I feel like people were trying to sound like other people, but now people are just influenced all over the place where it's like, hey, that's the truth to anything, right? As long as you're not trying to sound like someone else, you're just trying to sound like you. And we all have so many influences. It's always interesting when we talk to people who are like, I am 100% metal, or I'm 100% punk, or I'm 100% anything. That's great for them. Really, when you're depressed, you're just listening to metal, and when you're happy, you're listening to metal, and when you're, it's just when you're making love, you're listening to metal. I mean, that vibe is just like, but it sounds
Cheerios,
like
sometimes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Cheerios every day. That's all I eat.
It'll help your cholesterol, according to the box, if you do that. But, before I let you go, we had a funny question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
When I say Danny Case from Ashes to New, do I have to say from twice?
Yeah, so this is a workaround we've had to tell almost everyone. You can say either from the band from Ashes to New, or you can say of from Ashes to New. The from is like, that's a tongue twister. Nobody wants to say it. By the time they get to say it, they're like, they just cut out the other from, and then
that's what I did. That's what I've been doing. So when we were chatting before you came on, I'm like, I'm just going to say Danny from Ashes to New.
We probably should have taken a page out of Facebook's playbook and dropped the and just dropped the from. Like, no, the Facebook. We should have just done Ashes to New. But hindsight's 2020. So
right, yeah.
No, I just found it. I just like. I find it fun. There's no right or wrong answer, obviously. There, it's just fun. Yeah, just all fun.
Yeah, we get that all the time. We're just like, shit. Every time.
Hey, at least people can pronounce your band name really well. It's still to this day. I tell people like who aren't in the know, like you drop your kid off at school, like, oh, you're in a band, like yes, I'm in a band, and what's it called? And I'm like, you could be fucking Metallica, and it doesn't mean everyone knows who they are, right? It's a percentage game, so I never assume that anyone knows who my band is, and I tell them Avenged Sevenfold. No, Venge who? Vengeance? Like, I didn't even want to have to say the band name the first time. Now I got to say it like 3 or 4 times. Like,
yeah. I've heard Ashes to Noon, like
Noon.
The time.
Yeah.
Ashes to Noon. I was like, no, new, like a phoenix, like from ashes to, like, it takes some people like 3-4 tries. Other people just get it on the first try. I'm like, oh, thank God. It's just
well, Danny,
so you got my favorite song that you've released so far is I gotta look it up here. Hate Me Too. Obviously, it's the main, but the video is pretty fun. So whose idea was the video? You got a blow up doll. I think you stole it from Johnny's house and then put it in the video.
Whoa, don't put that in my house. I don't have a blow up doll.
So
I spend the money and get like the real shit and blow up.
yeah, so we had this song, and I was on the bus with Matt, and I was like, dude, I don't know what we're gonna do for this video, but I don't want to do another fucking breakup video. Like, I'm gonna blow my brains out if we have to do another video where it's just like some kind of breakup video. I was like, why don't we like get a blow up doll and I act like she's like a real person, and like she's seeing you like behind my back or whatever, and then like I kill her, but like she's actually like a person, so like there's blood and guts coming out of her as like she's getting brutally murdered. It was like, at first it was a joke, but then we were like, no, yeah, we're doing that, we're gonna do that. And then our guitarist Lance had the idea of eating her in the end of the video, which was, you know, we were worried that it was gonna be bad, and then we were like, you know what, if Eminem can make all these songs about killing his mom, and, you know, Avenged has done a video about necrophilia, I was like, we're probably okay.
What song you talking about?
That was our justification. Yeah, we're like, oh, we can do this. We're fine.
Dude, I love it. Danny, it's been a pleasure having you. I just want to say, as this is the first time I've met you, obviously, heard a lot about your band. Great work there, man. I'm glad now I have a little bit of perspective on where your guys' work ethic and where you are, and it's very fun to see. Like, I don't want to diminish, you guys have been a band for a while, but in our scope, it's maybe a little bit of a younger band coming up, and to see that, seeing what you guys are doing, and not only just from an outside, but now from an insider, having talked to you, I get the sense of where you guys are going, and you guys. It sounds like you're ready to be an ever-evolving band if you already weren't before, which I think is a breath of fresh air to hear from a young band like yourself. Hope great things for you and the boys to come. Maybe we'll cross paths at some point, whether it be a festival or just playing in the same city. Would love to hang, make you cheat out there and have a Truly or two.
All right, yeah, yep. I think we're playing. I think we're playing Welcome to Rockville with you guys.
Are we on the same day? Are we on Friday?
Yeah. Yep.
Sick. So, well, okay. Well, I'll make sure to come find you, and we'll say hi.
Yeah, I'll be catching your set for sure. So.
Right on, man. Well,
do you have anything you want to plug or anything? Your handle or?
At From Ashes to New, on all of the socials, at the Danny Case for my Instagram.
If you want to see a buff, sexy dude, and hit him up for his all
your ginger entertainment. Yeah,
you know, we were all having like such a wonderful conversation until you had to bring that into it. So.
Hey, I'm getting him. Well, he doesn't need the ladies, but
he's engaged, man. He's engaged.
Listeners who would be happy about it.
All right, man. Well, hey, love to the rest of the dudes. Really appreciate your time, man. I meant every word what I said there at the end there. So very cool to see, man. And tell the rest of the boys in Shine Down 3 Days Grace I said hi for me, please.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it,
man. Have a good one.
All right, take care, guys.
Well, that was fun, dude. That was fun.
Good guy.
He's a good guy. I said it to him just now, but I want to reiterate what I meant by that is definitely like when I hear him speak of his band and his craft, I see a lot of similarities in the band that I've been in for 20 years. It's not exact, which you don't want to replica anyway, but like there was some really cool stuff he was saying there that my ears perked up on when he said stuff like, I don't know if it's going to be that way next time. This is what I want to do right now. Really taking the time to live in the moment, both artistically and just as a human being, I think is really important, right?
Well, we've heard enough people say a little everything, and everybody, there's not really one way to do it. But what I know best is from you and your buddies you do it with, and you guys definitely take it as much as you have fun. You take it very professionally. You think about the fans, but you're also thinking about how to do this long term. You're taking your instruments seriously, and it sounds like he and his bandmates do the same thing, which I definitely do see maybe a similarity of that of, this shit's for real. It's not just having a bunch of friends with fun with my buddies. We're making something real here.
Yeah, which they don't have to be exclusive. Those two ideologies are not mutually exclusive. I mean, happen to be in living proof of that, I guess. But you know, it's and the way he talked about being able to separate that life from his home life too is just, I think, without even knowing that was going to be where the conversation went, I think that was, to me, the most interesting parts of what we just spoke about with Danny. I don't know about what were like your favorite moments in that conversation.
Oh no, he just seems like a really nice guy. He seems like, you know, he seems, I mean, I don't know how wholesome or whatever, but he just seems like easy to talk to. You know, I do like, it's interesting too that I always like hearing when people meet their wives not online. Not that it's not what it used to be, but I remember it's more of a rarity now to meet someone outside
like
of them.
Such the old comedian. I don't like things the way that they are today. It was so much better back in the day when people met at a bar.
It's true. Well, it's just rare, so it's fun when you hear that.
I guess, yeah. It's always fun to find the rarities in life. That's true. I'll give you that.
And I am old. I will not. I'm not pretending that I'm not.
Before we put a bow on this episode, though, we've got to get back to Hawaii. We cut off that.
Oh yeah.
You said you were doing all the hiking, helicoptering, all that stuff. And then,
oh yeah.
Did you leave on Easter?
We went the day before Easter. So
you had Easter in Hawaii?
We had Easter in Hawaii.
That's cool.
We didn't really do much. My daughter also turned 12 years old while we were in Hawaii. It was, I mean, my wife, Karen, just planned. So like, I kind of wanted a little more chill time, but every day had an activity. Just sounded
like Borat right there. I want to like
my life. Well, you know, it's funny. I'm surprised they said it without saying that. That's my old man comedian right there. My life. No, we had something planned every day. We didn't really do anything for Easter. The Easter bunny came a day early because he knew that we were leaving. So
that cheeky bunny.
Yeah, the cheeky bunny. But we the tubing was really cool. They tube through these old they take you up to this mountain and they give you literally an inner tube, and there's these man-made irrigation canals that just go down this mountain, and it's the rainiest mountain in the world or whatever. So it's just a ton of water, and they're dug out within, I think there's like 4 tunnels, and you just let it go, and you just sit there and you spin around and you go in this giant group. It's a great time. There's no beer. It's not like going down the river at Havasu or whatever, but
I like when you talk to me, everyone has to preface that. Oh, there's not drinking, Johnny, so I don't know if you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's like, I do plenty of stuff without drinking. All right? I feel that. It's not just you, Sam. When other people tell me stuff like, oh, I just have to preface, there's no drinking involved. I'm like, I'm cool, man. I don't need it all the time.
Yes. But river rafting usually goes hand in hand with drinking.
Absolutely.
So, to be fair to you, it was more the activity than you. And then horseback riding. I usually, you know what? Actually, I was on this horseback riding. I was talking to the guide, and we were talking about music and stuff, and he kept talking about New Zealand music. So he gave me a few recommendations. I'm going to be checking that out. I can't name them off the top of my head.
Yeah, you gotta let me know about that. Oh, by the way, speaking of dropping names and stuff, I do want to shout out to Jesse Leach. That's who is a singer.
Yeah, I looked it up and I forgot. Yeah. Apologies to Jesse.
You know, I apologize, Jesse, if you're listening at home or watching this. You know how it is. You got your own podcast. There was a lot on my mind. It's not that I forgot you. Love you, brother. I just had to get that in there. But so that actually sounds amazing. So it's kind of like half man-made, half natural rafting.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. And I guess, I mean, they have this wall of celebrities. I guess Steven Spielberg goes all the time. And there's this Chelsea. I got to give a shout out to Chelsea, Backwoods Country, something. Look them up there.
That was a great shout
out. Yeah, I'm great. I'm really good at this. You're the pro. I'm just the guy behind the scenes.
Not anymore.
Yeah. And then CJM horseback riding. I was not looking back or forward to that because I've been when I was a kid. It's just constant nut knocking. But I found out it's all about the speed. The way the guy explained it is when you're riding a horse, there's like 3 speeds. There's like the slow go, and then there's the medium one that just kind of knocks you the whole time. And then there's full gallop where you're just going at it. And that one's easy. Well, number 2 sucks. 1 and 2 are great. And it was just really enjoyable. And you take a horse and you go through like this little stream, and you go on the beach with a horse, and then you go up to the mountains, and you're going where there's no like cars or whatever, so it feels secluded. And another movie that was shot there that I didn't realize is Tropic Thunder, and I was like,
solid movie.
So I think I'm gonna,
amazing,
so good. You could never make that today, but it was a great movie.
I really hope that comes. I really hope some of that stuff comes back. I understand. I don't mean to. I don't want people offended all the time.
No.
But I think that there's some fun. There's some fun stuff. You got to be able to poke fun at things too. You know what I mean?
100%.
In my opinion. But that's just. Hey, I don't make the decisions. It's above my pay grade.
So, one thing we did miss is my neighborhood. On the Drinks with Johnny, I feel like we could talk about it. They usually do a kid Easter egg hunt because, I have a very large neighborhood community. Mm-hmm. And then they have an adult one where the women play too. A couple of the ladies here take hosting duties, and they hide beers. They take a bunch of different types of beers, like cans and bottles, and they hide them around. So after the kids have done the egg, she hides them all, and then we come with baskets or bags, and we have to find the beers throughout the neighborhood.
Oh my God, that's brilliant!
Right? So I feel like that might be something
I'm coming over. I'm coming over next year.
Yeah, honestly, come on, man. I think it would be a lot of fun. What did you do for Easter?
We went to the country club, had brunch at the country club with my mom and her boyfriend, and our good friend Dan came with his girlfriend and her mom and his mom. Oh. We had like all the moms who don't like necessarily know each other. Well, at least my mom doesn't know the other two very well. They all met, and we went to the club and had a great time. Met the Easter Bunny, had a great brunch. And then we came back to our house and played board games and this little horse race game. You know how it is at my house when we do game nights. That was pretty much it. We just hung out at the house, and then, it was a really great time.
I got to play that horse. We never played that horse. We were going to, and then you've had that a while.
Yeah. Well, it's Lacey's game. It's Lacey's game. Yeah. You know when it comes to gambling, whose game it is in the house. That's a Lacey thing. So it emulates like horse races, but you roll the dice and advance that way, and everyone puts money in. It's a great game. I mean, it's a lot of fun. We'll play next time. But,
sounds fun.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you had a good time in Hawaii. Seriously,
thanks, bud.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I do have to get Zach on next week. Maybe that'll be the Thirsty Thursday episode. Maybe he could just stop by real quick and talk some shit about the basketball that we're going to be.
Sounds good.
So, but anything else you want to add to today's episode here?
No, man. I think this has been fun. It was nice making a new friend in Danny. Best to them. Everyone go check out their album coming out in July, and I guess they're touring with some other great bands this year, so check them out.
They got shut down in 3 Days Grace right now, but I did see they're going to be on the shows with In This Moment and Motionless in White as well.
Yeah.
So that
I think some Pierce the Veil too. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, great. Danny's a great dude. Great chat. I guess that's it for this week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. As always, cheers.